just like sports are. Think about how kids who go off to college and choose one of the two universities, and then they have their rivalry games and they fight over their schools. It's all about division, division, division in this world. It's all part of our programming. What I speak to is waking people up from what's really going on. Stop fighting over the nonsense. Stop giving your emotions and support to the nonsense. Rig sports. It's not worth it. Stealing your time, energy, focus. I'll link this post. You can come read this. There's a lot of interesting stuff here about the jerseys. But I got a lot more to cover. We got to move through it. One more thing I need to show you about Gary Kubiak, too, Truth Seeker. This thread. Head coach of the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos and Levi's Stadium are also a perfect match in simple English gematria. You know? It's like the stadium was built for this game. Did I tell you that the same people who built the World Trade Centers built this stadium? I got a video on it. You can check it out. Also, I want to go back in time in case you haven't been here. The first thing that made me call a Broncos Super Bowl was actually something that didn't happen on the football field. It was something that happened on the freeway in California. There's this bogus story about a dead body landing on top of a freeway sign at Colorado Street. Colorado Street. And again, Broncos from Colorado. The word death has gematria of 38, just like Colorado and it being the 38th state. Interstate also has matching gematria as Super Bowl, and freeway has matching gematria football. The victim's name had gematria that synced up with Denver Broncos. It just seemed like a ridiculous story, and from documenting what I have over the years, I've noticed how these bogus stories often are hints for major sports championships. I've shown this before in the World Series and elsewhere. I know people are listening to this are just like, you got to be kidding me. But this is really what's going on, Truth Seeker. This story was also about a goat sacrifice, which is weird because the Rams have moved back to California just before the Super Bowl, kind of like a goat. I'm just showing the numbers on the screen, Truth Seeker. Story had 50 numerology, like Super Bowl 50. The wreck also happened outside of Glendale, California. Last year, Glendale hosted the Super Bowl. Glendale is also where a massive cemetery is, and a lot of celebrities are buried. Here's Peyton Manning, the night he tied Favre. Just talked about that. The score, 20-19, Sunday Night Football with the 39 gematria. Peyton Manning, 39 years old. Only in the rigged NFL, you know? Peyton Manning looking real washed up in that win. Throwing lame ducks ever since. The thing that scares me most about Denver in the Super Bowl is the way they got blown out last time by the Seahawks. The nation thought that the Broncos were going to win. I certainly didn't think they were going to win. But anyway, the Broncos got wasted. Big upset, big money for Vegas. So anyhow, he's doing this commercial for Nationwide, playing ping pong, singing the Nationwide song and says, epic comeback starts right here. Then he whiffs right as he says that. And show you something about that. Epic comeback has gematria of 50. Is he going to whiff right here in Super Bowl 50? Or are they trying to psych us out with this commercial? Because I'm not the only one who's watching this commercial and thinking the same thing. I think the powers that be know that their average fan, there's a part of their mind that thinks maybe the games are rigged because of how awkwardly they finish. And so perhaps they do these things to taunt them, you know? We'll all know in a week. Next up, Panthers. Okay, so as we transition from Broncos to Panthers, John Fox, NFL head coach, is the perfect pivot point. This man started his NFL coaching career in Carolina, replacing George Seifert, a former coach of the 49ers who are hosting the Super Bowl. After coaching in Carolina, he went directly to coach Denver. And from Denver, he has transitioned to the Bears. The coach who replaced him in Carolina is Ron Rivera, the former member of the Chicago Bears, the '85 team that beat the Patriots 46-10 with the revolutionary 4-6 defense. And in Denver, he was replaced by Gary Kubiak. Now, Ron Rivera and Gary Kubiak, his replacements for the two respective teams, are meeting in this Chicago-themed Super Bowl while he's coaching in Chicago. This type of triangulation is not out of the ordinary for the NFL. Think about the Manning-Elway scenario. Manning began his career with the Colts before being traded to Denver. Elway was drafted by the Colts, number 1 overall, out of Stanford, class of '83, then traded to Denver. Peyton Manning moved to Denver after Andrew Luck was drafted number 1 overall, out of Stanford, to the Colts, just like John Elway. This triangulation thing in sports, it's going on all the time. Here in Seattle, the Seahawks, when they got Pete Carroll as their head coach, he came in with a record of 33 wins, 31 losses, previously coaching the Patriots and Jets. He replaced Jim Mora Jr., who had a record of 31-33. Notice the reflection of his record. The ranging degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry are 31, 32, 33, summing to 96, like the word Freemason. Again, this year we're in the 96th year of the NFL. Chicago, a Freemason Zionist Mecca. Anyhow, Pete Carroll would go on to become the first head coach to go to back-to-back Super Bowls since Bill Belichick and the Patriots, and in his second Super Bowl of doing it, it was against the Patriots and Bill Belichick. The league is all full of these riddles. It's a bunch of Masonic men, Masonic riddles, Masonic relationships, all part of the big rigged show. So check this out with the name John Fox. John Fox equals 38. This is the coach, formerly of the Panthers and Broncos, now the Bears. Remember, this year's Super Bowl is on the 38th day of the year. All the 38 we talked about. Notice also how Fox in Pythagorean Gematria, F the 6th letter, O the 15th, 1 plus 5 becomes 6, X the 24th, 2 plus 4 becomes 6. Fox breaks down to 666. Of course, Fox, the network, carries the NFL season. It's a name with 18 Gematria, the number that syncs up oh so nice with Manning and also the numerology of the Super Bowl this year. Anyhow, that 666 thing, the way football begins, F breaks down to 6, O breaks down to 606. Football begins with the 666. Probably not a coincidence. Chicago, home of the 60606 area code. Rahm Emanuel in English Gematria, the Zionist mayor of Chicago. His name equals 666. These riddles are deeper than you know. These sports leagues are an organized racket, again, by the Masons and the Zionists. The name John Fox in simple English Gematria. John replaced by Ron, both names with 47 Gematria. That's special number, first Super Bowl in the 47th year of the league. Fox, a name with 45 Gematria. Again, the Super Bowl this year on a date with 45 numerology. Bears equals 45. Perfect for Fox. He has birth numerology of 84. United States of America equals 84. Carolina Panthers equals 84. Arizona Cardinals also equaled 84. The NFC Championship game. Arizona, the big way, equals 84. Birth numerology of 30, a number connecting to Saturn, the keeper of time. The 85 Bears season was 30 years before this one. Some things can be a coincidence. A lot of things are not. Fox's year where he coached Manning. Manning threw for 55 touchdowns. Remember how we talked about that number? This year the Broncos are in their 55th year of existence, just like Elway. Like I said, he replaced George Seifert, former coach of the 49ers before the Panthers. This year, the 49ers hosting the Super Bowl. Ron Rivera, the coach of the Panthers from the Bay Area. It's going to be the first Super Bowl also cast live in Spanish, I think. Doing something different with the Spanish broadcast this year. It's interesting that January 13th was the day that Fox signed with the Broncos. Remember, John Elway equals 113. That special number, Scottish, equals 113. Signed a $14 million deal as the 14th coach of the Broncos. As for Ron Rivera, he lost his brother just before the season began. His brother died, surprise death, possibly a ritual sacrifice. These Masons, these Zionists, they really do kill people by the numbers as well. Also something else I cover. Interesting to note that Ron Rivera's brother died just before the season began. Ron Rivera in Pythagorean Gematria equals 57. When you write out 57, it equals 131, just like Super Bowl, just like championship. As for Cam Newton, he's born on May 11th, the 131st day of the year. As I pointed out in the college championship, just because you have the championship numbers doesn't mean you'll win it. It could mean you'll just be the person to appear there as well. The only thing that Clemson had going in the college championship was their coach's name had the championship Gematria. And I said, yeah, that's the only thing in Clemson's favor. Everything else lines up for Alabama. So I said it might just be his honor to be in the championship. The same could be true of people such as Cam Newton and Ron Rivera if they don't win this year. That's the thing that's tricky about reading these numbers. Cam Newton's full name, Gematria of 96. The Freemason number, Carson Hilton Palmer, the QB he faced off. Also 96 Gematria. Again, NFL turns 96 this year. His first name, Cameron, a name with 33 Gematria. Number of obsession by the Freemasons. Just want to point this out again. Cam Newton, leader of the Panthers. Huey P. Newton, who established the Black Panthers in '66, the season of the first Super Bowl. The party was founded on black nationalism, which has Gematria of 66, like the year it was established. Huey P. Newton would die at age 47. This number of Zionist and Masonic importance, again, the first Super Bowl in the 47th season of the league. He died on August 22nd, 22/8, like United States of America, Martin Luther King Jr., the big way, 228. More special numbers, Truth Seeker. Coded into agents throughout time, the Black Panther Party was controlled opposition by the gang. If you haven't seen my work on the recent Jerry Maguire film, I'll show you what's up with it, Truth Seeker. Well, first let's just start here. The way the movie ends is with a tribute to Black Power, which I caught and I said, wow, they are even scripting this into movies from '96. They had it all planned out. BPP for Black Panther Party has Gematria of 122 like San Francisco. And I bring that up because the main character in this movie is played by Cuba Gooding Jr. He's number 85 on the Arizona Cardinals. His name is Rod Tidwell. And Rod Tidwell in Gematria sums to 122 just like San Francisco. The name Tidwell alone sums to 85, just like the number he wears. Big tribute to the 85 Bears, last Bears team to win a Super Bowl again. Chicago, the birthplace of football. These numbers have been coded for some time. Lots of foreshadowing. The same people who control the NFL are the same people who control the media are the same people who control Hollywood. Please go back and watch my video on Jerry Maguire. There's a whole lot more to it than that. I just want you to see how all this stuff's been coded in. This movie came out in '96, like Freemason. Cam Newton was just a little boy when this movie came out. That's how well they have it all planned out. Manchurian athletes bred to be. With regards to the Black Panther Party and more 85, Fred Hampton, the leader of the Black Panther Party, was murdered December 4th, '69, supposedly by the FBI, a date with 85 numerology. Blackout also has Gematria of 85. On April 7th of this past year, 2015, there was a blackout at the White House. The word president equals 47, a blackout on a date that's a lot like 47, first black president at the White House. As I said in a prior video, all this race war symbolism, the reason for this Super Bowl in the first place, is heading to the death